I cannot tell you how many times I have had this same conversation with potential clients. They tell me they're perfectly qualified for the next level role. They've done a great job. They've absolutely nailed their work. They've got tons of experience. They've been there years waiting for promotions. Why won't they just promote me? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about why they won't just promote you. My name is Tom. I'm the founder of Vertical Motion, where we help mid-career professionals become executives. If that's interesting, there's a link down below where you can learn more, or you connect with me on Instagram at TomCoxVM. Today, we're talking about why they just won't promote you. So the way I'm going to structure this is I'm going to talk about 3 myths about promotions, and then I'm going to talk about 3 hard realities about promotions. The first myth that many people have in their mind is that promotions are rewards for hard work. They are not. Promotions are not rewards. And if you think about them that way, you're going to be very frustrated. If you feel like you deserve the promotion, you're missing the point. That's from your perspective. But think about it from the hiring manager's perspective. Do they need you in a higher level role? Or do they need you right where you are doing the really great work that you're doing? Most of the time, leaders aren't thinking about moving entire teams upwards in the company. They're instead thinking about building systems that work really well and are stable and static for as long as possible with the highest level of knowledge retention inside the system. So you want to move up. You've moved outside of the box and you're ready to move to the next level, but they don't want you to. They don't necessarily need you there. They want you right where you're at because you're very good at what you do. And if you're a hard worker, then you're very much going to stay in that role for as long as they can keep you there. The second myth that I hear is that promotions are for people who are great at what they do. They're great at their job. That's not necessarily true either. Again, if you're really good at what you do, why would I promote you out of the role that you're doing so well? If you think about it, like you're very good at what you do. Let's take product management. You're an amazing product manager. Your products are always on time, on budget. Your customers are happy. You feel like you deserve a promotion for that. I feel like I want you to continue to be a great product manager and continue to do product management at a very high level. I don't have incentive to promote you out of a role because from my perspective as the hiring manager, here's what I'm thinking. I take someone who's very good at what they do, and now I put them into a role where they may not be as good because they have to grow into that. Worse, now I have a hole where there used to be someone who knew how to do that job really well, and now I have to promote someone up to that level. And that's hard to justify unless there's a really good reason to move that person up out of that role. That's the reality of how hiring managers are thinking about you and promotions. And again, the third myth that I hear is that promotions are earned with lots of experience. Again, no, experience is not what's going to get you promoted. We'll talk about what will get you promoted, but it's not experience. Experience factors into it, but it's not the key factor. You need to have some experience, but less than you might think you need. When you think about things from an egalitarian perspective, or the perspective of I've been here the longest, therefore I'm the most senior, and therefore I deserve the next promotion, that's a bottoms up view of the reality. The top down view is I want the best people in the best seats possible. I want to reward my high performers and my high potential people in different ways. That doesn't always translate to promoting people out of roles that they're experts in. Sometimes it means leaving them exactly where they are and letting someone else shoot past them, which can be frustrating to the person who feels like they deserve that promotion. So these myths are the perspectives of people that are looking upwards towards their own promotion, and they're myopic about their view from their own perspective. Think about this from the hiring manager's perspective, though. Again, as I was saying, if they see a team that's working highly effectively, why would they want to disrupt that team? Now, not hiring people can lead to people leaving because they want to be promoted, they're ready to move up, and there's no opportunity for them to do so. In this very highly transactional environment that we are in right now, it's 2024 at the time of this recording. In this world, the way the job market is, that might actually be the right way to move up. We'll talk more about that. So here are the 3 realities about promotions. The first is that you need to maximize your executive skills, not your professional skills. You may be so good at your job as a professional, as a program manager, as a software developer, as a team manager, as a store manager, as whatever you're doing at the professional level. You may be so good at what you do that you're unpromotable. And I see this a lot. I've had several clients who are so good at what they do. They've become so important. They're not fireable, but they're they're also not promotable either. You can work yourself into a role that you can't work yourself out of. It becomes very difficult to move you because sometimes people take on the work of 2, 3, 4 people because they're so efficient at what they do. And those people are really hard to replace. So when they leave, now the company has to go hire 4 times their salary to fill the work that was being done, or let 75% of the work fall to the floor that used to be accomplished by this one person. That's a difficult place for you to be in your career. So if you get too good at being a professional, you wind up in a situation where nobody wants to promote you to the higher level. They only want you in that role. You need to develop other skills besides professional skills. You need to develop your executive skills. This is having executive presence, being able to communicate as an executive management styles and techniques, vision, strategy, leadership concepts, all of these things, knowing M&A, knowing organizational building, all of this stuff are things that you need to learn and demonstrate instead of being really good at whatever it is that you do. You need to take a step up and look more strategic at things. If you're only in finance and all you think about is finance, well, you're not knowing what marketing is doing and sales is doing and operations and supply chain. You need to have the perspective of the entire organization and your entire industry in order to move to the higher levels. The second reality about promotions is that promotions tend to go to people who will do better at the next level, not the person who did the best at the previous level. So I will hire someone who I think has more leadership and growth potential than the person who's better at their job than that person was. And this is really important to understand, that some people are wired more to be executives, to be leaders. They're more confident, they're more assertive, they're more authentic and transparent and easy to relate to and easy to like. Those people tend to move upwards, especially if they have strategy, vision, this ability to think critically at a very high level, can kind of see the whole world for what it is. Those are the people that are going to move upwards more so than the people who are very, very good at the work that they were doing at the lower levels. At some point, promotions are no longer rewards for great success at the lower levels. That's one of the myths that we talked about. That may have worked for the first 2 or 3 promotions in your career. It will not work in the executive ranks. It all flips up here. People get pulled into the executive ranks that signal that they're ready to think like an executive. And so the reality is that the person who's going to do better at the next level is going to get promoted over the person who did the best at the previous level. And the third reality of promotions is that relationships really do matter. This is where I'm talking about nepotism and brown nosing and manipulation. So hiring managers will promote people that they know, like, and trust and believe can actually do the job. Hiring managers are humans and they make mistakes. I have made terrible mistakes in people that I've chosen to work with. There's a video on my channel that talks about the dark side of leadership. You can go watch that. I spill some tea there. But the point is that you have to learn how to deal with these things. You should never brown nose. You should never manipulate. You should never lean on nepotism as a reason to get ahead. But there are people who will. There are 2 ways to the top. There's one way, which I teach, which is how to be authentic, empathetic, audacious, and move forward in a way that makes you a great leader so that you're lifted up in your career. There's another way, and that involves manipulating and lying and cajoling and convincing and bribing and brown-nosing and all the things that these people do to move up. And it works, unfortunately. You can do that. Unsubscribe from this channel if that's how you want to move forward, because I'm not your person to teach you. Instead, what I teach is how to avoid those things and still move up. There's 2 ways to the top. There's a way as a leader and there's a way as a manipulator. Let's just focus on how to rise to the top as a leader. So relationships do matter, but you have to build relationships that are authentic. You want to be able to connect with people. I have a video that I just recorded talking about how to build deep relationships with people. You want to get to know the people you work with. You want to get to know your leadership, but you also want them to get to know you as well. And that means having this external brand where you're willing to share like multi-dimensional aspects of who you are, who your character, right? You don't have to be an open book and share your entire life, but you want to show that like you're into these sports or these hobbies and you care about these causes and these charities and you like this technology and this kind of music and things like that, where you become more 3-dimensional. Because when people see more of you, they realize that it's not just a facade. It's not some fake thing that you're putting up there to pretend to be. When people can tell you're not wearing a mask, they will tend to trust you more. And the more trust you build with people, the more likely they'll be willing to share with you what you need to know in order to grow to the next level. They'll be willing to mentor you and guide you on that path, as opposed to someone that they think is manipulative. Now, manipulators, some of them are so good that people can't tell that they're manipulating, and that's how they move ahead. And they get to the next level. You'll notice that their stays at places are very short. They tend to burn through relationships pretty quickly because it's very hard to wear a mask for years at a time. So let them do what they do. My whole purpose with this channel is to teach people how to lead authentically, empathetically, in an audacious way, so that we can replace the manipulators with good leaders. So do be willing to lean into the relationships that you have with your coworkers and especially your leadership team. So to sum up, why won't they just promote you? Well, hopefully by now you see that there's two perspectives on this situation. You feel like you've earned what it takes to be promoted, and you do deserve a reward for the hard work that you've given. But at the executive level, promotions are not rewards for the work that you did at the lower level. They're acknowledgments that you're ready to do work at a higher level. And so you have to demonstrate those executive skills. You have to build deep relationships. You have to demonstrate that you're ready for that opportunity. And that is what's going to move you up, as opposed to being the best or being the hardest working or being there the longest. Those are not going to get you to the executive level, at least not often. I hope this video was helpful to you. I'm excited to see how people react to this, because this is a little bit of mindset shifting. So let me know in the comments what you think, and I will see you in the next one.